Hi and welcome to Dark Principles. A common question I'm quite often asked is how do I convert a string into a value and a value into a string? So it's actually a very simple process, but I'll demonstrate what we need to get started. So if I just enter in a quick test program, so we got my string equals 72, then my value equals 72. We've got print my string and print my value, so that's going to be fine. It's just going to display 72 on the screen. Then we're going to press the key, and then we're going to try and attempt some mathematics, and we'll see what the string produces. So we'll do print my string add my string, and print my value add my value, and then we'll attempt to do some mathematics on it again with a second set. So print my string times 22 and my string times 22. So if we try to compile the program, the first thing we get is an error. Types my string and 22 are not compatible at line 9. So we already know that that's not going to work. That's a failure. So we'll get rid of that code, and now we're going to compile the rest. And as you can see, 72 and 72 is printed. Even though one is a string, one is a value, to the user it makes no difference. But if I press any key, you'll notice that the same sum performed on two different variables or two different variable types has produced totally different results. Instead of having 144, which of course is what 72 add 72 is, for the string all we did is got 72 and 72. So all we're doing there is literally adding 72 and 72 as two text elements, while the other one is actually performing some kind of mathematics. So what if you're in a situation where you've got a string for whatever reason, and it does come up in programming every so often, and you still need to perform mathematical functions on it? Well, you basically need to convert it. So what we're going to do now is pop in another program that I've coded, and this is going to have all three stages. So we'll just paste that into there, and we've got the same thing again. The only difference is we've got val and brackets. Now val, what it basically does is converts a string into well, a value, as in whatever value is called for. So it would be a float or it would be an integer, depending on whatever value you're assigning. So this, for instance, is just going to be working with the integer because it doesn't have the float symbol, but we could work with floats if we wanted. But anyway, let's compile this program with all the vowels surrounding all the strings and see what happens. So we got 72 and 72 again, which we expected, and we've got 144, 144, despite the fact that we're using string variables here. And we've got the same result again. We haven't got the error this time. We've got val my string times 22, and it's treated it as a number. So that is a quick and simple way of converting string variables into numbers. Now, a more common problem in Dart Basic is probably going to be when you want to use a text statement and you only have values. So if we type in a test program there, one that's destined to fail, we've got the same thing again. My string equals 72 and my value equals 72. And then we've got two text statements, both requesting the presence of each variable. So if we compile this, you'll notice that you get an error here with a big cross. Parameter for text does not match x-ray string. So if we click here, you'll notice it's got down there text x-ray string. So it's basically saying it needs a string entered there. Now, quick and easy fix for this, we're just going to type in str and the string symbol, and bracket and close bracket. We're going to compile the program again, and as if by magic, it works perfectly. So of course you can now perform mathematics. You could convert the string into a value, then you could assign that string into a value quite easily. So if we, for instance, only had a string like it demonstrates in this particular program, obviously it's just going to print 72 on the screen, but say we would need to perform some kind of mathematical function on it and then return it to the text statement. This is quite easily achieved. like so. So if we have a look at the commands I've just pasted in now, we've got my value equals the value string, and then we've got this complicated mathematical function applied to it afterwards, and then we got my string equals string my value. Now notice we're working with a float here instead of an integer, and there is a reason for my madness. So we've got all this mathematical rubbish happening to this particular string here, and then we're basically assigning the original string to the my value. So we've created a string of 72, my string. We've got my value, which is a float. We've converted it into a number with the val command. We've applied some mathematical nonsense to it. Then we've called my string again, and we've assigned it as a string as my val, because obviously my val cannot be put into a string unless it's been converted first with that command. And then we're printing it on the screen as if well, we're just printing it on the screen like that. So if we compile the program, we then get the number that we worked out using this rather complicated mess, and as you can see, it's very definitely a float. Now say you didn't want to include these numbers here. Say you only wanted 26.36. You can do that quite easily by adding a comma in the string value and just putting 2, and that will limit it down to 2 decimal places, I think. So if we compile there, as you can see, it's limited it down to 2 decimal points. So if you've got some really complicated math with lots of numbers and zeros you do not want to display to the user, then you can simply reduce them down to 2 decimal points like so. So if you're calculating the speed of light or whatever, then this will be a way of simplifying what the user sees while maintaining the integrity of my value in the background. So this string isn't affecting my value, that's still there. All it's doing is converting it, putting it back into my string, and then allowing it to be displayed. Of course, you can reprocess my string at any time simply by converting it with the val command, and you can do various other things with it as well. So that's how you convert strings and values into one another, and you can work with a whole range of integers and double floats, and everything you need will be handled by a string, and you can convert it providing you convert it into the right type of variable. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial. I hope you found it useful. Please comment and subscribe.